We here at the Fast Lane Car are lucky enough to drive a different car every week. So without further ado, here are the top 5 performance luxury cars that we've driven this year. Ladies and gentlemen, meet the Fisker Karma. You may know it from its starring role in 2.5 Men, but here in the real world, the question is there room in the marketplace for a hybrid car that costs $100,000, has 22-inch wheels, the biggest you can get in any production car, and gets 20 miles per gallon when it's running on gas and 52 when it's in electric mode? Well, let's find out together.
Basically, we wanted to create the first environmental friendly cars without any compromise. And that's why we chose to have it go about 40 to 50 miles of electric. The average commute in the US, by the way, is 29.5 miles. You can look that up on the official government website. So as long as you have more than 30 miles, we feel that's kind of the ideal battery size to carry around and to commute to and from work without using a drop of gasoline.
Think of the Karma, at least in terms of the drivetrain, as a Chevy Volt on steroids, because you can drive about 40 miles in pure electric mode, and you can plug it in, charge it up overnight, and then drive it again without ever having to use any gasoline.
We have very high torque, and it's an amazing amount. It's over 900 foot-pounds. You know, we're basically able to start off a car it's like it's in fourth gear. So we're just going completely from 0 to 125, all one gear, no shifting, and our high torque electric motors let us do that.
Now, the first thing you notice when you get in the Fisker Karma is just what a massive car it is. We're talking subcompact on the inside, Chevy Suburban on the outside. Under the hood, you might be surprised to find a 2-liter turbocharged direct injected engine that is, well, sourced from General Motors.
So if you think about Fisker Automotive, that is our brand defining car, and that is why we made this car so radical in its proportion and its looks, because this is what we're about. We're about ultimate beauty, and we needed to create, and we wanted to create a car that was way more dramatic and way more beautiful and way beyond average in the class that we go into.
If the car looks familiar to you, it's because the designer and the owner and the man behind this car used to be a designer for BMW, so there's certainly a lot of BMW influence in the car. He is also responsible for designing the Aston Martin Vantage and the DB9, so in a way this is kind of a hybrid between a DB9 and a BMW.
We asked Goodyear to create special high-profile tires, which the only other car you kind of would see that on would be a Rolls-Royce, which also have very large wheels but high-profile tires.
What's really surprising is when you put 22-inch wheels on a car, I mean, these are steamrollers, then you'd think that the ride would be very harsh. But because this car has such a long wheelbase and because it's so heavy, it's actually quite good. Do you hear that? Well, that is a signature sound of the Fisker Karma. Not too long from now, all electric cars, when they're in pure electric mode, will have to have some kind of a sound so that you know they're coming. No more sneaking up and scaring people. With 2 electric motors powering the rear wheels and a combined 400 horsepower, Fisker says the Karma will get to 60 in just over 6 seconds. Fisker also says they think it will compete with cars like the Porsche Panamera. Pacific Coast Highway ahead of me, the hills of Malibu to my left, the Pacific Ocean to my right, and Hollywood is, well, half hour away. What is there not to like about this? Tell me, what is there not to like? And just in case you're wondering, Fisker has built about 1,500 Karmas so far. And they have 80 dealerships, 40 in America and 40 in Europe. So if you want a Karma, all it takes is a check for around $100,000.
Welcome to Lick Skillet Road, one of the steepest roads in the United States. You want to check it out online? You can. Look what I got. A brand new Cadillac CTS wagon. Mwah! We like the CTS-V because, well, frankly, it's got a giant V8 out of a Corvette. But this one has a 3.6 liter engine, puts out 318 horsepower. It's about a 12 horsepower gain from last year. It's not bad. Starts at around 39. This particular one with the all-wheel drive, which is what we're talking about today, is around 59.
And today I'm driving the brand new 2012 Infiniti M56X, which stands for all-wheel drive, which means that it's a good thing that me and Nathan both have all-wheel drive cars, except I have a V8 that puts out 420 horsepower. Oh yeah, they're both great. All right, if I'm being honest, mine's blue and Nathan's is gray, but this will get gray very soon when we go up Lick Skillet Road to test the all-wheel drive system. And Nathan, how would you describe road conditions today on Lick Skillet?
Road conditions suck. Let me show you. This is pretty much what we've got to drive on this. Snow, a little bit of hard dirt, and a lot of ice. It's gonna suck, but we have all-wheel drive, right?
And we are gonna get these cars very, very dirty.
In case you're wondering, we test the cars with the tires the manufacturers supply us with. We don't really have a choice in the matter. Fortunately, both of them are mud and snow tires.
You may also be wondering where we get these fine automobiles. Well, we get them from the manufacturers, and sometimes we can choose the cars we want. And sometimes we can't. Today we got lucky and we got two all-wheel drive cars.
Now you've heard of Audi's Quattro or Subaru's symmetrical all-wheel drive. We know you know what those are, but these are different. We're gonna show you by taking them up Lick Skillet Road. Check it out.
All right, I'm in the CTS-V with my man Nathan behind the wheel. And to make it more interesting, I have the stopwatch as always.
Yeah, in the mud and the snow. Let's do this.
You ready? 3, 2, 1, go! There we go.
For those of you who don't know, Cadillac uses the Borg-Warner system. It has 25% of the power up front and about 75% in the back. That's under normal conditions. Right now, as I'm driving like a complete moron on the dirt, snow, and slush, that was close. I would say that it can go all the way up to 100% to the front wheels. That is rare. Most of the systems are, 50-50, 60-40, maybe. But in this particular case, it's more performance biased.
Now, this car, of course, has a lot less horsepower than my car, but this is really a test of the all-wheel drive system. So we're not doing a mashup, per se, of the two cars. We're doing a mashup of the two different all-wheel drive system and going up the steep hill. How does it feel, Nathan?
You know what? I mean, not bad. That's the only way I can put it. We haven't slid off and died. That's great. We haven't turned into a fireball. That's awesome. But when it comes to the really flat, loose, slippery stuff, I can really feel the front end biting in and pulling the car forward.
Which is good because this road is getting yuckier and yuckier as the higher we get. I'm amazed that this car is actually doing so well.
Yeah, it's way better than I anticipated.
And by the way, if you're interested in the review of this car, we're not doing a full review today. All you have to do is click or visit TFL, where we took the very same car, but the one with the V at the end of it, up to Leadville, the highest city in America. All right, Nathan, you're coming to the end. I've got the stopwatch. I see the blue barrels, and you're almost under 2 minutes. You better floor it. Do you want to make 2 minutes?
I am flooring it.
You're floored.
My butt puts all the way down.
Here we go. And bam. That is 204. And we made it up, and the car handled well, would you say?
Yeah, it handled great. There was only a little bit of oversteer and only a little bit of understeer, and I really did try to push it.
This car has intelligent all-wheel drive. Those are not my words, those are Infiniti's words. Basically, it's a rear-wheel drive car. You know what, I'm just gonna go. 3, 2, 1, here we go.
Yep, go.
It's a rear-wheel drive car most of the time until the front wheels start to slip, at which point the car can allocate up to 50% power to the front wheels, which means that it, under most driving conditions, feels more like a traditional rear-wheel drive car. The other thing that's cool about this car is it can actually appropriate power left to right. So let's say I'm going around this turn and my steering wheel is at 30 degrees and my back end is at 40 degrees. it can break the inside wheel to bring that back end around to be in line with the steering wheel, which means theoretically that we won't go off this road. Let's hope it's true.
God, I hope so.
Here comes the muddy bit.
Oh, this is bad here.
There's a part of me, oh my, look
We're
at that.
still going forward. Oh, there we go. Now it's turning.
It completely went straight ahead. Just complete understeer there.
Yeah, but did you feel the rear end kick in? I did.
I did feel that rear end kicking. It's pretty cool. Under these conditions, you can really tell. The other thing that's better than Nathan's car is I've got a lot more power, so I'm just flying up this hill. You can hear it.
That V8 really has some legs.
Yeah, and even though we're at high altitude, it still feels much better. Look, I'm driving with one hand.
I would rather you drive with two.
Well, I gotta hold the stopwatch.
No, I don't care about the stopwatch anymore. I don't care.
By the way, we've already reviewed this car, so once again, if you want to see a review of this, go to TFL Car or click. Oh my, I love getting these cars dirty. Oh, you can really feel it working there.
Good.
You can feel that back end.
Oh, yeah.
Here we go.
There.
All right, that is 137 or almost 30 seconds faster. But it really wasn't about going as fast as we could. It was about seeing how the all-wheel drive handles. And you know, this is a big, heavy car, and what impressed me was just how well it mitigates for my idiotic driving. So yeah, good job, Infiniti. It is intelligent. So it used to be when you had a four-wheel drive car, in the good old days, you had to engage the differential, get outside, lock the hubs, and hope that, well, you didn't have dry pavement because your hubs were locked. Not anymore. Today, people like my friend Nathan here drive these all-wheel drive cars in no matter what condition.
These cars are excellent with all-wheel drive. Both systems are fantastic.
You believe what I have to put up with? Do you believe that? Guess what I'm driving? I bet you know.
And can you guess what I'm driving? Stay tuned, you're gonna find out on the Fast Lane Car.
All right, we're driving the same car, the 2013 GS, except
Mine is the hybrid.
and mine isn't. Nathan, and that's a part I don't get whatsoever. How much does that cost?
69 and change.
This one's 61. $8,000 more for that car. What kind of mileage are you getting in the last week?
Combined, 31 miles per gallon.
I'm getting 26, so you're getting 5 miles to the gallon more. And that is the part I don't get. Why would you end up spending $8,000 more? Heck, for that money, you could get 2 Leafs and get $12,000 back from the government if you really cared about fuel economy.
It's a lot more than that. Tell you what, come with me, let's drive it, and I'll show ya.
All right, I'll give you a shot, but design-wise, obviously they're almost identical. There are some subtle differences. There are hybrid stickers on the hybrid, and of course, on the back end of the hybrid, you don't see the tailpipes because, well, it's green. Keeping with that green theme, inside the car, you get bamboo. Looks very elegant, looks very nice. You know what? Both these cars are exceptional. They nailed it out of the ballpark. Wow, Nathan, it's so quiet in here. You have to love that kind of Lexus vault-like solidity and build quality.
Yeah, it's a little strange when you slam on the accelerator because you hear a little bit of a buzz and there's a little bit of a whine because this has a CVT transmission, continuously variable transmission for those of you who don't speak Nathan.
Another reason to get the regular one.
Oh, come on. You know what? This is a really, really good system. Best CVT I've ever sampled. And quite frankly, this car is more sprightly off the line than yours.
In sport mode, what happens is it changes the throttle mapping. So it should shift a little bit later. It should be a little bit quicker. Let's find out if that's true. Here we go. Good takeoff. This engine has a lot of power. Oh yeah, shifts right at red line, 6,500 RPM. And here comes 60. Oh yes, indeed. It is faster. 7 7.39. 7.39.
So here we go. I'm gonna set this baby into Sport Plus. Should speed it up a little bit. And it's letting me rev it a little bit, up to 3,000 RPM. Here we go. You know what's cool? I don't have to worry about power loss that much because part of this is an electric motor. Okay, so Roman's 0 to 60 was 7.39. And he's been hemming and hawing and complaining about, you know, the fact that this car is so much more expensive. But you know what happens when cars are a little bit more expensive? Sometimes they're a little bit faster, folks. Can you see that? I can see that. That says 7.25. That's faster. If you take the two vehicles and weighed them against each other, this vehicle is actually heavier. The reason why is because it has a ton of batteries.
Hey Nathan, where do all those batteries that give you your 32 extra horsepower live, by the way?
In there, kind of at the bulkhead in the trunk.
So they're in the trunk, huh?
Yeah,
So does that mean there's less room?
a little.
You want to demonstrate that, Nathan? It's your job. Come on, that's why you're a highly paid fast lane car professional journalist.
There's still room. Just a little less. There's enough room for two big golf club bags. And
one Nathan.
yeah.
Say goodbye, Nathan.
Oh, goodbye, Nathan.
Bye. How about ride and performance? Do you feel that extra weight of the batteries when you're driving this thing around these corners?
A little bit. You know when I feel it isn't so much when I'm going around the corners, it's when I'm slamming on the brakes or accelerating. It kind of feels like there's a little extra push, a little extra tilt.
Nathan, honestly, how the heck is a hybrid faster than my car when they basically have identical powertrains?
Well, that's where you're wrong. They don't. This one has a different type of V6. It's an Atkinson cycle, and most importantly,
Say that 4 times fast.
No, I'm not going to. No way. It has an electric motor. Now, here's the thing. We always talk about at high altitude how the gas-powered engines, even turbocharged ones, lose a lot of power. Electric motors never lose power up here. So, off the line, I push my foot down. It just goes. It's very impressive and very quick.
Does it drone on like a typical CVT?
Well, it does drone on, but only for a few seconds as opposed to a few minutes.
All right, Nathan, looking under the hood, I can't tell a difference, but that one has 32 more horsepower.
That's right.
But it also weighs more.
A little bit more.
It has less trunk space.
A little less.
And it costs $8,000 more.
Okay. You know what you could say is, dude, it's got more horsepower. That's the way you look at this, as opposed to, well, it's got a little bit more horsepower. It's got more. And at high altitude, the electric motor is not affected by thin, low pressure.
So, I think we can agree that on the TFL scale of buy it, lease it, rent it, or forget it, they're both gonna get.
Buy it, for sure.
But I say, buy this one.
No, you know what? Don't listen to him, folks. He has too much hair to be trusted.
All right, Nathan, this competes with, well, honestly, I can only think of one.
Yeah, the M hybrid from Infiniti.
Perhaps the Fisker Karma, but that's a much more expensive car, and it's got a different sort of hybrid powertrain. It actually can go in all-electric mode.
Yeah, I mean, this one can sort of do electric mode, but only under certain miles per hour, very slow and whatnot. Frankly speaking, there are very few cars this competes with because this is a rear-wheel drive performance car that's a hybrid.
And there's a reason for that, because nobody wants them.
Oh, come on.
The ultimate luxury sedan has always had that exquisite blend of sporty performance and opulent luxury, with the secret sauce being the pleasure the car gives the driver when he drives it. Jaguar has always had that. What it hasn't had is reliability.
You won't believe it, but when it comes to luxury, Lexus has always been top-notch. It's always been really reliable. What it hasn't been is very interesting, fun, visceral. Guess what? Something may have changed.
Nathan, this is fascinating. We've got two cars that approach the ultimate luxury performance sedan from completely two different points of view.
Absolutely, and it's sort of like right brain, left brain when it comes to these cars.
Yeah, the Jaguar has always had that emotional involvement.
Right brain, whereas in the Lexus has always been very technical, very advanced, and very logical, which is left brain. But here's the thing. These cars are sort of switching. The Lexus is trying to be more passionate, more interesting, and
The Jaguar is trying to be more reliable. So let's see if they succeeded.
so you would think that if it's an F Sport, it must be fast. It is, but it's no faster than the regular GS. I'll show you why. Under this hood is a 3.5 liter V6 that puts out 306 horsepower and 277 pound-feet of torque. That's okay. Surprisingly, this thing is really fast. It's all-wheel drive. Off the line, this thing is remarkably quick.
Unlike Nathan's V6, I, of course, have a V8. And I don't have 8 gears, I only have 6. And I don't have all-wheel drive. I only have 2-wheel drive with snow tires for up here in Colorado. But what I do have, which Nathan doesn't have, is 385 horsepower. And of course, about 300 pounds more in curb weight. .385 horsepower, it's gonna be thirsty. And a combined 19 miles to the gallon is not great, but if you can afford $67,000 for this car, you can afford 19 miles to the gallon.
Unlike the cow that Roman's driving that gets like 19 miles per gallon, and realistically I think it gets 16, this car gets 21 miles per gallon combined, and it really gets 21 miles per gallon combined. Kind of helps that it has a V6. It's not bad. Price? It's pretty steep. It's just under $60,000.
That engine note is worth every penny. And then when you get in the twisties like I am right now, you can just place this car exactly at the apex of a turn, because that's what Jaguar does the best. It has this great combination of comfortable ride with just incredible, splendid, lively handling. It doesn't feel nose heavy, even though it's got a big V8 in the front of it. It feels like it's on its tippy toes, like it wants to go exactly where you're pointing it. And you know what? I can feel exactly what these front wheels are doing. I love the Jaguar for this reason. This is where it excels.
Once again, Lexus has done this thing, they use the voodoo. I'm going to make sure that you can drive the car fast, but because you're a human being, you are too stupid to drive it properly, I'm going to make sure our Lexus can do it for you. That's exactly what they did. This thing has all-wheel drive. It hangs, and it just tenaciously chews into the ground, and it won't let go. And even if you think you've deactivated traction control, you probably haven't, because, well, it's Lexus, so they're not going to let you. It handles beautifully. The ride and handling balance is fantastic. Does it handle as well as the Jaguar? Yes, but the Jaguar feels more neutral. This car feels a little bit synthetic, but for the everyday driver who likes to have a little bit of fun, nice.
All right, Nathan, I have it in triple secret sport mode.
Hey, are you gonna use the paddle shifters?
No, this can't do what it does best, and that is shift for itself.
Sweet.
Okay, here we go. You ready?
Yeah.
Here we go. Oh, bad launch. I don't know. That was a little slow on the launch.
A little bit of wheel spin.
Yeah, there we go. All right, let's see what the results are. 0 to 60 is... Whoa, what do you think?
7.5.
6.63.
Damn!
Even with
Damn!
bad launch.
Even with a crappy launch at high altitude.
Herein lies the rub of value. If you were smart in the past, you would never buy a Jaguar new, because these things depreciate like a rock, and the reason for that is they haven't been historically very reliable. However, they have gotten much better. They're now toward the top of J.D. Power's list of reliable cars. They're not at the top, but they are toward the top, which means that maybe you can go out and spend $67,000 for a car and not feel like it's going to be worth half that in 3 years. Have they gotten better? Maybe. Maybe.
Competition besides the Jaguar, the E-Class, the BMW 5 Series, and the Audi A6. All of those cars have a little bit more testes over this car, but in terms of overall refinement and this amazing feel, I'm giving it to the Lexus. The stitching, the pewter finish, wow, much better than the usual diluted kind of septic feeling that Lexuses normally have. This is fantastic. It's one of my favorite interiors.
All right, guys, I'm going to show you something that just drives me absolutely batty. I start the Jaguar up, put on my seatbelt, and put it in reverse. Do you know it has a reverse camera? Because, you know what? There, finally. It took probably a good 3 seconds before that reverse camera came on because this is so slow. I've actually backed up my entire driveway without the camera ever coming on. Come on, guys, you can do better. You know, Nathan, I think the perfect sporty luxury sedan is somewhere in between these two cars.
Yeah, and in the murky universe in between the two with a manual transmission, that would be the ultimate in luxury and performance.
Because the Jaguar has the best engine note, ride and handling, and the worst interface. That screen that you touch that doesn't work. Oh, it is so frustrating.
It's infuriating. This has one of the best infotainment systems ever, and its performance is really good, but it's not quite there with the Jaguar.
So if it were my money, I'd still go for the Jaguar.
Despite how wonderful this car is and the fact that Lexus has finally grown an ego and a conscience, I'd still buy the Jaguar.
As always, this is Roman.
And Nathan.
See you guys next time. It's a 5-passenger sport performance sedan. It's not meant to have a lot of utility, but having said that, it is very comfortable. I think the Lexus is a little bit more comfortable. The seats are a little bit more attuned to my big American ass, but this thing is fine. I could see myself driving all the way from Peoria to Peking.